I had had enough.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general.
Yeah,
out in the middle of nowhere.
What I was doing, I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Worked with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFOs. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. When an alien lit right there on the ground, he commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, any last wish before you die, yo? Reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, fill your claw, you son of a bitch. Now a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
This season, you've got places to go, people to see, and things to do. You may have already gotten vaccinated for flu and COVID-19, but other respiratory illnesses
Welcome to the Light Gate, where reality bends and the unseen awakens. Preston Dennett, joined by Dolly Saffron, guiding you beyond the veil and into the infinite unknown. Every week we unlock high strangeness, extraterrestrial contact, hidden realms, psychic awakenings, the afterlife, and secrets they don't want you to know. Step through the gate, and if you feel the calling, subscribe to the channel and share it with those ready to awaken.
As we close today's conversation, we invite you to take a moment to notice what stayed with you. The question.
This next one is, I think this is a new show coming on. This is an intro for a new show. We're going to listen to it all together. It's the first time I'm going to hear it too, guys and girls.
Ooh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Between Worlds, where we bridge inner experience with everyday life. I'm Jennifer Drakowski here with my co-host, Hannes Coughlin, and we're broadcasting live on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM from New Orleans. We're so glad you're here.
doing what they do, bringing information for me and you. Ron Moorhead and his Sierra Sounds, Daryl Denton, the Tennessee Bigfoot Man, along with Michelle Desrecher's, bring adventures across this land. So much information brought to you each week, actively out there looking as the truth they seek.
Turn the mute button back on, and that might actually be okay. Welcome, everyone, to UFO Undercover. Everyone's having a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on our usually big, beautiful blue planet. I mean, really, I hope you're having a good time and enjoying life and staying out of trouble and making money and, making babies and all the good stuff. Making money, making babies, and making chocolate. Oh, hey, I can go for all three of them. That sounds good. Maybe you have to rearrange it, maybe like CAM or something. No, CAB or something. I don't know. I have to figure it out. I have to come up with an acronym for it. Anyway, Jay, what's up to you, baby? How you doing?
So far, so good, man. Just was watching trying to watch some Ancient Aliens things today just to get my brain on UFO stuff, but they didn't have much good on. They had the episode where they do like kind of a round table with William Shatner. Yeah. Like, I don't want to watch this. So I flipped and I watched something else that came back an hour later and they were playing that same almost the exact same episode, exactly the same spot where I left it before. So I'm like, wait a minute.
That happens. Well, I don't know when it was. I mean, I was a big fan of Ancient Aliens when it came out. I've met Giorgio Tsoukalos many times. I've interviewed him probably at least 30. I met him for the 2012 party in New Orleans. It's just sorry about that, guys. My phone's vibrating. It's what is Ancient Aliens? I mean, I guess there's only so much you can go. I mean, there's only so much data out there about extraterrestrials, and some of it's data that you couldn't put out anyway, even if you had your fingers on it, because you just something probably bad would happen to you. The rest of a lot of it's just garbage they're putting out. I mean, it's Ancient Aliens. That's the title, so they're trying to do ancient stuff. But I mean, come on, how long they been on? 14 seasons, 15 seasons.
More than that. I think
it's been a while.
Seasons.
They've been on a while. No, they've been on a while, guys. Like I said, the first interview I did with Georgia, I think, was in like.
But they didn't really actually start off as seasons. It was more like mini series, like 3 and 4 hour specials that were on every 2 and 3 months and 6 months and whatnot. But they've been on since what 2000. At least 2009. I'm looking it up right now. We'll find out.
I know. When I did the first season I did with them was season 14. I think season 14.
2009. Yeah, that's when they started.
So, well, Chris, I don't know if they do 2 seasons a year. I haven't really paid that much attention to it. I just remembered I was on season 14 and 16, and then I'm in a couple other seasons, but not as a thing, just as a question being asked. So they ask you a lot of questions when you do interviews with them.
Here is the episode guide. They've changed their website around.
Yeah, well, from what I hear, they're having a hard time getting people. I mean, Congress is talking about UFOs. You think things would be more popular, but there just isn't any evidence. I mean, there isn't any information. I shouldn't say evidence. It's most right, even the new people when I hear them talking about old stuff. I'm like, come on, man. What do you mean, Chris?
All right, so it tops out at 15, and then you can see half of 16. So let's start with 15, and then we'll go to the next season. After 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 seasons.
Yeah.
The 22nd season is this year. They've got episodes tagged out through February 19th.
Jack, I don't know how many episodes they do a year. Like 10 or 12, probably.
Well, let's go to let's just pick the middle. It's a 22, so we'll go to season 11, and let's see how many episodes there are. 1, 2.
Well, they're like some of the other places. I think their seasons change every now and then. There might be one of them, 2 more or less. A couple other sci-fi series did that. Sometimes they'll have like 13. But the problem is, Jack, is it used to be 25 episodes a year.
15 on season 11.
Yeah, that's not bad. 15 is pretty good. But no, they used to be 25. So you'd get 25 episodes.
10 for season 10. So yeah, they get, depending on how much their seasons, I guess they get bought for less and more here and there. But yeah, not bad.
Yeah, so. Well, if you can sit through and watch them, they're only an hour long, so.
Well, what they have done also, though, if you have some of the streaming services, particularly Roku, they have where they've taken edited episodes that tie in together. They have like a similar theme, or even if they've redone the theme on other episodes, they edit them together for like 3-hour, like concentrated episodes on that one subject. But they've also, I was about to say, they've pretty much touched every episode. I mean, they're grasping for straws now for new material, and there just isn't any. They've actually reminded me of things that I learned 40 years ago when I started this adventure. Just research that I come across, these stories I'd forgotten about, weird things. Like there's one with the guy in like the tinfoil suit. Really, it looks like he's got like cone ears and a cone nose. It's a really weird.
No, that's the Pascagoula boys, I think.
Yeah, the Pascagoula one, right?
Yeah.
But it's what these ones aren't talked about very often. Even Lonnie Zamora isn't. I mean, he's a legitimate. He was like a 6-year veteran of the state police when he had his encounter. So, as a trained observer, I tend to believe his testimony, but no one speaks about it.
Yeah, well, and there's other problems, like there's not very many UFO conferences anymore.
Yeah.
Somebody said, well, there's Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree is more of a new age than it is UFOs, and most of the stuff there that's going to be UFOs is going to be new age, and I got a lot of new agey friends, and I have nothing against them, but when you get into research, I want research.
Yeah.
If I wanted wishy hissy kissy pissy stuff, I would go somewhere else, but I want research. No, I have nothing against new age. Like I just said, I have a bunch of friends that are new age.
What if we as a network, we did a like an Ancient Aliens conference thingy?
But actually, we've been talking about somehow to do a conference down here. It's because 9 months out of the year, the weather is fabulous down here, and like today, it's 76, nice breeze blowing. You could even do an outdoor concert down here on this go.
And it's Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got all those hotel casinos. You do it the right time of year, you'll get a good price. Well, see, Jack, we got 2 casinos. We got 14 on the beach. And they're bigger than Vegas casinos. Oh, yes, my friend. Our gambling floors are much bigger. I got to tell you, because I've been to Vegas a few times. I went one time when I was in the Navy. Vegas that's when the mob really had it under control. They were small, not much going on. I mean, it was a busy place, but none of the casinos were all huge or anything. And then they had to rebuild, and they built all these big casinos and hotels and all these lobbies and everything. But the casino floors themselves aren't that big, with the exception of maybe the Orleans, which is huge. The rest of them are about half.
There's a reason for that for the table games, anyways. For the slots, it's a little different. The slots are all jam packed together. If you ever go to the slot rooms, but the table games, particularly the card games, they don't want them jam packed all in together, because then you have too many distractions for your security to look for cheaters. So they tend to minimize the amount of tables, because each table has
down here. They don't.
Well, maybe not there, but Vegas, and I've been to Reno. I don't know about Vegas, but I'm sure Vegas is very similar. At Reno, they have very nice table games. They're all spread out pretty far wide apart, lots of space between them, and each table has at least 2 cameras on it. One's on the dealer and one's on the table.
Oh man,
and
that's some antiquated shit there.
Yeah.
So let me tell you the real way it works. So down here, there'll be 10, 12, 14 tables side by side, back to back. and they'll have two guys, a guy, a girl, whoever. They're the pit boss.
Yeah,
So
they have pit bosses too, but
so no,
also
but they wait. Let me finish. They're walking up. Every table has a minimum of 9 cameras on it. They can actually look down and see you playing with your chips and know which chips you have. Hell, matter of fact, you write anything on a pad, they can even tell you what they're writing. And like the Grand, there's not the only place they don't have cameras is in the bathroom. Oh, and of course in the buffet, and they got a few in the buffet, but not like they do on the floors. Oh no. I mean, there's literally Grand. There's literally a camera every 2 feet. You ain't going nowhere. There's even the slot machine. I mean, not the slot machines. Even the ATMs have cameras around them. Not including the one that's on board. It's insane. And some of the new digital machines have cameras on board. Yeah, they don't bother telling you that. But sometimes when you get a winning ticket, the picture of your face is on it.
Like as a watermark, yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's security, I guess.
Yeah, it's just. But I mean, if you go in the Grand and you see its downstairs floor, it's bigger than the MGM and the Lexar put together, and that's one floor. The big Grand, the one that the Katrina wiped out, it was a 1/4 mile long, 4 stories tall, and just nothing but floor front to back. All the way from one end, except for they had Kids Quest. So if you wanted to bring your kids, they had this place where they had machine video games and books and things that you climb around in and play in and stuff like that.
They didn't have that in Reno. They had well, what the hell is it called? Oh, Circus. So there were two gambling floors. One floor was the bottom floor was for the adults. You had to be 21 to enter. They would not allow anyone under 21. And then the floor above was anyone, any age. But it was all like,
that's not
like
what this
Chuck E.
was.
Cheese kind of things, like claw games and video games.
Kids Quest was only for your kids. It was a babysitting service. So if you brought your kids, like you didn't say you couldn't leave your kid at home, you had a 5 or 6 year old. Oh no, they had all, the whole place was closed off. No adults could get in there except for the people who worked there, and it was all kids. That's all it was. And like I said, they had games like arcade games, and then they had video games like Sony's and stuff like that. And then they had all these other.
That's what I liked about the Circus. It was for it wasn't. I don't know if they had the service. They might have, but adults could go there and use it too.
Adults.
I went there with my friend, and we went and played 1980s video games, Space Invaders and Pac-Man.
Matter of fact, when they first started opening casinos down here, they put an arcade room in that anybody could go play in the arcade. Even that they took out because they didn't like the adults intermixing with the teenagers. So they even took those out.
It's the best kind of gambling because the house is always the winner. You put in a quarter, and the only thing that you win as the player is you get the high score, and maybe you type in 3 initials for your name if you're lucky.
No, if you're in a casino down here, even some of the old machines down here, you can still go play pinball for money if you win and pay your quarter.
So they did retrofit. Some of the old games did sometimes. If you went to Chuck E. Cheese and other places like that, they'd have a ticket spitter outer, and you collect tickets playing games.
So when I was a kid, my dad owned a place called Seabo's. It was a seafood restaurant. We had 2 pinball machines in there, right? Both of them paid money. You put a quarter in, how many of credits you wanted, paid you back. And then if you wanted to put them back in, that was up to you, but it paid you in cash and not in quarters. It's those were cool as hell, and they stayed around for a long time. You still find them though in like seafood restaurants and places like that. You'll still see them in there. There's people being there playing them. You drop in a quarter, win a quarter, lose a quarter, whatever. It's just a quad of people, but
quarter. It stacks up. But like I said, the ones that
no adults.
They have the ticket spit out, and that's what Circus did. It was just like Chuck E. Cheese. You'd turn them in for stuffed animals and rubber band guns and stuff like that. Stupid trinkets.
Oh yeah, see now they had those at like different places down here. The places where they had the skeet ball and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have skee ball too. Exactly. All those kind of carnival games.
Because I was on the beach, you'd have like Fun Park USA. Of course, they had go-karts and all kind of shit. Big, huge, massive, 50,000 square foot arcade. Man, I mean, you get lost just looking at machines in a damn place.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And then then had bumper boats and stuff like that, and bumper cars. So all that stuff was there. And there'd be 2 or 3 of these along the coast, not just in one place. And some of them they had the adult machines along the back, and they paid quarters. Yeah, you could play money on them. And like I said, you can still find a few of them around today, but it's just not like it's because of the rules. The casino rules now are different.
Yeah.
But I mean, no. So the Grand decided to put Kids Quest in because well, like my wife and I had a 7-year-old, so one of us would have had to stay home to go gamble. So
Oh shit, yeah.
So that wasn't going to work. So a friend of mine says, "Oh no, I'll bring my kid to the casino." I said, "You can't bring your kids to the casino. What kind of sick shit is that?" I said, "No, Joe. Let me introduce you to Kids Quest. Let me tell you what. Anytime my son was like, Daddy, when we're going to the casino?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, we're going to the casino." I'm like, "What?" He loved this place. I'd give him like $10. He'd eat his way through the place and just play games. He'd be like jitsing when I come back. I'm like, "Dude, what the hell's going on in this place?" And making all kind of friends and stuff. All the kids you'd hear, all of them were happy. They took really good. Whoever was taking care of them kids did a good job. Because all them kids wanted to come back.
Free Kool-Aid and snacks, I guess that would be if you get free Kool-Aid and pizza, hell yeah, I'd be in for that.
Well, certain snacks they gave away free, and then there was stuff there that you could buy. And then so if you wanted to buy certain things, you could buy it. And then of course all the gaming was free, and all that was free. And then they did have one section that was a paid arcade. But like my son wasn't even tall enough to play those machines, so it wasn't a thing. Those were more like for teenagers and stuff, and they'd be pumping it. But they wasn't a quarter; they were a nickel. I guess because they were for kids, they were a nickel. So them kids would get over there. But they had all kinds of big screen TVs with all kinds.
You can set those coin slots for any one of the 5 coins. Yeah.
But it was cool because they had Sony, they had Atari, they had a couple of brand of video games up in there, so they could just on those. And they had big 80, 90-inch TVs to play on.
They got the money to spend on it for sure.
Them kids was jitsing on that shit. But like I said, man, matter of fact, it got to the point where the place was so busy, they wanted you to make a reservation. But Joe had been there so many times, they always would let us in. Because we knew the people who worked there. They were like, yeah, you can, no problem. And because they had a fire code. You can only have so many kids.
Yeah.
It was a big casino, and it was a popular casino. It had bananas in it, which was one of the best buffet on the coast at the time. I mean, the place was fabulous. Anyway, people, we'll get off of that. We're going to. Well, no, actually, so it's funny we talk about this, but the casino areas, like the Gulf Coast, there's a lot of UFO casino on the Gulf Coast. And when you get out into Reno and Nevada, or to Vegas, or to I forgot the other one. What's the one? It's right above. No, it's right above. It's on the Ohio River. It's right above Vegas. I've been there to lecture a couple of times. Laughlin. So you got Laughlin right there. You couple
and Reno's got itself. Then, like right north above it is Laughlin is Silver City. They have gambling.
So I mean, so you can. No, Laughlin's on the by the dam or the other side of the dam. Yeah, because you got to drive through a little. So on the bottom side of the dam, there's a big, huge subdivisions all over the place. You would think they would have built the subdivisions on the top side of the dam, where of course it's way up in the air and you can't get flooded. No, they built it on the bottom, which whatever made no sense to me whatsoever. They have security on the dam, my friends. Usually, depending on which way you come in, you're gonna either get a good looking at or maybe even searched. So I always come in from the back way because I'm coming off of Interstate 20, I believe it is. So we come down and there's always a state trooper roadblock and they want to talk to you. And, oh, why are you coming this way, sir? I said, because I was on Interstate 20. Oh, okay. Well, there's a highway over here. I said, well, that's not the way my map took me. I give him a MapQuest map. He's like, oh, okay. Well, do you mind if we have a look around? I said, sure. What are you looking for? You got any dynamite in your car? Started let dynamite. I said, officer, don't take this the wrong way, but I've never had anybody ask me that before. He said, well, it's a big dam and we can't be too secure. So I popped the trunk. And I said, notice there's a ton of luggage back there. I said, because we're all there. Because there was like 6 of us in the car. And we were in a Nissan Armada, actually. And he's like, well, y'all look safe. Y'all look like y'all look like patriot Americans. Get out of here. And we left. And then we're coming back, going up to Laughlin. They pulled us over, brought the dog through the car. I'm like, dude, you better go get a warrant. Oh, this is Bob sniffing dogs. They don't smell drugs or nothing, so you ain't got nothing to worry about. I wouldn't worry about that. I said, dude, this is a $70,000 car. You got your dog tramping across my leather seats. I'm like, I said, you poke a hole in it, you bought it. She got all pissed too. I'm like, dude. I said, I don't have a problem with the dog. I said, so then the fat guy gets in and puts the dog in his lap because they were for sure there was something in the car at this point. So he's got the dog in his lap, picking him up and pushing his head down and shit. I'm like, no accounting for dumb. No, what do you mean? I'm not anti-police. I can police in my family. My stepfather was a captain on the state police. Yes. Don't even go there. My cousin right now is a detective on the Jefferson Parish Police.
For 4 years, I was a member of the Rockville troop of police explorers. My last 2 years in high school and first 2 years in college were in learning to become a cop and eventually be a police detective.
What do you mean, why didn't I become a cop? Because I don't want to get shot at. Now, actually, do you know what?
Same reason here. I had prescient knowledge that what we've seen in the last 15, 20 years when police are in their cars doing nothing but eating their lunch, being shot because they have a Midnight Navy jersey on and a silver badge. I did not want to get shot because I was a cop. I wanted to get shot in the line of duty, if at all. But not really.
No, Jack, really, to be totally honest with you. I was talking to my stepfather about it one day, and I'm like, I just don't have the temperament. I said, I see the shit y'all put over. I said, I pulled the guy over. He said, I just grab out the car, beat the shit out of him, throw it back in his car.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. He said, I said so, and then I'd end up in jail myself. Oh, they'd be smoking marijuana. I said, give me the pot, get out of here. It's no, not for me to smoke people, just to help the young man out. Throw it to the. You mean that's an old joke? You mean the Labrador joke? That's what's his name with the big album and all the. God, a Spanish guy and the white guy. Cheech and Chong. Yeah, that's who that Labrador joke came from.
He's not actually white. He's part Asian too.
Well, which Asians are white? I'm always confused when people say, well, Asian. No, Asians are white. I mean.
But I'm not implying he's not white. I'm just implying he's not 100% Caucasian.
Most of the Asians I know are really white. More white than most Americans I know. I hate to, especially Japanese, man. Ooh, Lord. I thought I had white legs. I ain't got nothing on them. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What the hell, Jack? There's nothing wrong with that. White. Well, I guess white meat tastes better because that's who the aliens abduct the most. I'm sorry, it was a bad joke. It was a bad joke. No. Well, Jay's gonna play this clip with Barack Obama in a few minutes, but just before we do that, so this has always bothered me. It's gonna always bother me. So here we are. We're in 2026. I mean, we're like in the future now. When I was a kid, this was the future. I mean, 2012 was the future. Now we're 12 years past that. I'm sorry, 14 years past that. So here we are. We're in the future. Now, in a lot of ways, we are way better off than we ever have been.
So far.
In some ways, we just still seem to be ignorant.
Well, here's the messed up part. Where we are now, it seems that there are several, some intact, but most not intact, especially the ones that aren't intact buildings that are more advanced than the buildings we build.
And then there'd be arguments about that. So see, Jack, just want to tell you, all of this stuff, we're just a lost civilization. Nobody knows exactly what we are. My grandson was telling me today he thinks we're not time travelers, but we've come back to change ourselves. Well, my wife used to tell me that all the time. She thought the Greys were from the future. Come back to change. And she's not the only one. I've had other people tell me that. But there are some problems with that theory. They've been doing it for 6,000 years and still haven't fixed the problem. Get the out of here, buddy. I'm not going to believe that. No, so they would have known where they made the mistake and what would have needed to be changed. So it wouldn't have took all this long to change it. They're here for a different reason. Changing our society is not that hard. Just show up, pop over to the White House when Xi Jinping and Putin get nasty, flatten out 2 parts of their country where no one's at, and say, "Okay, do you really want to talk?" Yeah, they can get our attention easy. That's because they don't care. You remember this, people. I tell this to everybody. The most important part of abduction research and alien research is treat them by their actions. Not by what you believe or what you think you believe or what you think you're interpreting that they told you, but by their actions. Number one action, they take people without permission. Oh no, I did a soul contract. Bullshit. Well, these other people didn't, and they're taking them. How's that? So they're taking you, and not just that. I've said this a bunch. So these Greys who are taking people today were taking them 25,000 years ago, and it's the same Greys, which means they know your family far better than anything you could even conceive of your family. They could probably tell who your direct descendant line is, all the way up to you. And why do they need to know that information? I guess it's like cutting a thread. That was a bad thread. That was a bad thread. They're not doing that because the lines are keeping going on or continuing to go on. Sorry about that bad English. Wow. Again, actions speak louder than words. So, planet, especially for my New Age friends, how enlightened do you feel after 250,000 years of contact? Well, I'll make it even easier. How enlightened do you feel just in the last 100 years of contact? Do you feel that our humanity is calmer, better, brighter, and it's headed for a beautiful, bright future? Or is it a chance that we might just blow ourselves off the planet? I didn't actually curse, Bruce, so bite me. Yeah, I seen that R go up there. I know what you meant. Well, anyway, it comes down to is they haven't changed us. They haven't enlightened us. They haven't eaten us. They haven't wiped us out, but they haven't enlightened us either. If you're going to judge them strictly by their actions, we're just as dumb now as we were 5,000 years ago. The only difference is our technology is better, but we still have voodoo practices. We still believe in pseudosciences. We're not any better than we were then. We're still, you know what? Not only are we more efficient at killing people today, we kill more people today than we did at any time in the past, and we do it at a much more efficient rate. Shit, we murder 1 million babies a year, people. So here, that's not worldwide. So what do you think if you're an extraterrestrial, you're looking at our planet and thinking to yourselves? You know, you have to remember, we're being judged. Yes, we're being judged by these races. And what do you think they're judging us on? Our humanity, how kind we are to each other. So if we can't be kind to each other, why in the blank do you think they'd let us into deep space? We're a threat to the whole freaking galaxy. We'll be stealing technology, especially the Chinese and Russians. They'll be stealing technology from aliens. Next thing you know, there'll be a intercontinental war and Earth will be toast. Intercontinental ballistic war. I know. But deep space might be a better way of saying it. If I had to judge us by our actions as a planet, I'd be worried. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say we're pretty bad. Yeah, we're pretty bad off.
I'm not. I'm sweet and innocent, like, but
I mean, as a species, as it is now, there's. I mean, it didn't really hit me until when I started working in retail for a few years, but just talking to customers, at some point it dawned on me that just how incredibly uneducated the bulk of the planet really, really is, and it's kind of scary.
It's a strange thing. But I'm just saying, if I was looking down at this planet, I mean, right now, Russia's just indiscriminately just killing people in the Ukraine. And by the Ukraine defending itself, it's indiscriminately killing people. Now, Trump did end 8 wars, but those wars were all killing people.
Yeah.
We are in all kinds. Most of us, we can, because think about if you're extraterrestrial and you're watching the news right now on what's going on in D.C. with Mr. Epstein,
or what's going on in Iran, all the protesters being killed, and
or in any Muslim country for that matter, because they're all being held down. I mean, you have to remember they're judging us, and I don't think they're big into Sharia law. At least there's been no evidence of it. They seem to be more interested in the new world because the old world's being left behind. Well, it is. I mean, you have races that have been visiting this planet for a very, very long time. So they have their reasons why they're here. Obviously, it's not to kill us, and obviously, it's not to enlighten us. Because if that was the thing, it would already have happened. Well, Samantha, depending on who you want to take as an expert on this, they have been anywhere here from 2 million to 250,000 years. Somewhere between 250,000 and 2 million years, they have been messing around with our DNA.
Perhaps longer.
You had the Sumerians talk about this in great detail, about the 7 creations of man, with the last creation of man being us. Well, not us. The creation of man before this creation of man. I need. There's got to be a better way of saying that, but
what they termed that first Homo sapiens was, they called it Adamu, and a lot of people have translated that to mean the first humans, which is partly correct. It's actually the 7th version, or the 7th update to the DNA. But literally, what the name Adamu meant, or the word Adamu meant, was the first set that could breed on its own. Whereas before, they were controlled. Their breeding was controlled by the Anunnaki, whether through drugs or cloning, whatever it was that they did, only cloning males or only cloning, however they kept the population under their control. It was too costly for them to continue making people to do the work. So that's why they eventually went to a self-breeding population.
But
not until they were ready. And
you had this population that they created, which for some reason they call it the 7th creation of man, which I kind of understand, because it's weird when you look at the Egyptians, Sumerians, and the Mesopotamians. They've got these 5 first creations. They're human from the neck and down, just not from the neck up. You see pictures. It's like what was the one of the gods who had the bird head, Hathor, or one of them? I can't remember which one.
Hathor is the cow goddess.
I never get them right.
The ibis is, I think his name was Ibex.
I think it was, anyway. They were like an eagle or a falcon or something. That's what the bird.
You have Horus. She's the falcon.
Then you had the wolf one, and then there was a couple other versions besides that, and then there was the human versions.
I don't know which one the wolf one is, but you have Anubis, which is the jackal. And
I call it the wolf one. Technically, it's a dog, but
yeah, it's sort of a canine species. But then there's also Sobek, which is the crocodile-headed one.
So, and then there's Seth, which is the snake-head one. So,
yeah, and Hathor we spoke about. There's other versions of that in other lore with the minotaurs, so cow-headed ones.
But now the minotaurs and all were probably offshoots of something, another breeding program, because you've got when they talk about the sons of God and the daughters of Earth, they're talking about like a subspecies.
Yeah.
We could call them angels, but they would have been archangels, not angels. Yeah, I don't think they just let regular angels.
They could have done a wide range of experience. We don't know how long. We don't know exactly how long they've been here. Some reports say 450,000 years. Where do they pull that number from? I think out of their ass. Pardon my French. But what I think really is the deal is that they just didn't know which species would be the one to survive, I guess, their experiments. So we have all kinds of weird creatures in legend and lore: centaurs, mermaids. There's the Pegasus.
Some of them were
Cyclops, giants. All kinds of weird creatures that are hybrids of other creatures, chimeras.
But some of them were created for security. So that's the difference. Yeah. That some of them were actually created for security.
Like the Shedu, the winged cows that are. You see them from the front on their pillars and the gates of some of the Sumerian cities. You see this carved big cow it's got a human head and a big like dreadlock beard. Then you come to the side of it and it's got 4 legs, but 3 of them are like, it looks like it's walking forward. Those were the security. They would stop all evil presences from entering the city. A hybrid animal.
So Jack, according to the Sumerians and the last creation, which wasn't us, but it was a species almost like us. In other words, they could procreate, they could plow the fields, they could make meat, they could do all kinds of stuff. They just didn't ask, why did I have to go do this? They didn't challenge anything. They were status quo. They were sentient, but not the way we're sentient today. And there was no real aggression there, which I imagine was probably bred out intentionally. So anyway, this species is going along, and then you hear the Dogon talking about Nemos. You also hear the Egyptians talking about this, and all of a sudden, the story pops up from the Sumerians about these reptilians that used to come down from the mountain, which I have no idea what mountain it was, by the way. I'm assuming wherever the Dogon were, and then it would come down, steal the women, take the women with them, which because they didn't think the women were coming back. They would rape the women and bring the women back pregnant. The women would have children, and those children were different. The first time I heard the story, I thought they were going to say the children were different, like they looked different, but that's not what they meant. They acted different. When there became enough of them, they started a revolution and brought down Samaria, brought down pretty much the whole Middle Eastern culture. The Mesopotamians, the Egyptians, all of them came down because this became the dominant species that's here today. The species that's reptilian and human, and somewhere along the line got some gray in it as well now.
Well, and possibly an amphibian source, because the Numo or the Dogon,
but that's what they are.
They describe were people that came out of the ocean, and they may have been reptilian. And there's the
oh no, they're actually part of the Dogon group.
Yeah,
the Sumerians actually talk about it. So there's a particular breed of reptilian. When you look at them, they look a lot like us, except their faces, and they got what looks to be scales, but it's not scales. It's just these indentations, like lines that you can feel that make raised pads. But their skin is soft. It's suede. It's warm to the touch. It's not cold. It's not a true reptilian in any sense of what we think reptilians are today. They're very advanced, very intelligent, very religious. That's just who they are. But for some reason, they took pity on that human race and interbred with them so they could make the next evolutionary step. They jumped us. It was like a jump jet. They gave us the DNA and just jumped us. I don't know how many thousands of years it would have took us to go from that pathetic species.
Thousands or millions, perhaps.
Could have been millions. That's the point. So they jumped us up. And well, people, you can argue the fact, I cannot tell you when I'm doing lectures how many times I win money over this. Most of the time I let people off the hook, but I was Tulane University, Ivy League college. I'm talking about this guy. I said, well, I've heard you say that all humans have reptilian section in their brains. And I said, yes, they do. Oh, no, sir, they don't. I've looked it up. I said, dude, you did not look it up. And he said, oh, yeah. So I had my pad and thing. I said, Siri, please inform this gentleman what the reptilian section in our brain does. And of course, Siri goes off. I said, even Siri's smarter than you, dude. And the teacher starts laughing. And the class got really quiet because none of them really understood. It's the driving force inside of us. It makes us who we are. Without it, we would just be little wimpy. It doesn't make us aggressive, but it does make us not want to fight or flight. It makes us
what it does is it turns us into squirrels. You lose like your tactical brain, your fight or flight brain, and your probably a very good chunk of your reasoning, because I don't think mice have the reptilian segment of their brains or squirrels. And if you've ever seen a squirrel when like a car comes, they're like, that's what would happen to us if we didn't have that reptilian segment.
Yeah, it's what allowed us to become the species we are today. Without it, we would still be a slave species today.
I think we still are, but we just are denying ourselves.
We're not slave in the way that we consider slaves. We're not the way humans consider slaves. That's not what we are. And the fact of it is, it's not that we're slaves so much as that we're confined by our own limitations. Yeah. That's the best way I can say it. It's we're really at a point where we're smart, but we're not trustworthy. We're gonna come up with an FTL drive probably in the next 50 years, if not sooner.
If we don't already have one.
Elon Musk, because no, if we did, Elon would be out there because he couldn't help himself.
Well, I didn't say Elon had it.
If anybody's going to have it, Elon's going to have it.
If the government gives him one that they have, maybe, but he has.
What do you mean? He's ahead of the government.
Well,
that's the point.
The official government, some of the hidden stuff that they might have could be better.
Space Command said that Elon Musk and the things that he's got coming up are probably 70 to 100 years more advanced than they are, and that he's at least 175-year more advanced than China, which makes me wonder what the bleep, bleep, bleep is on them bleep, 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 and Starlink bleep, bleep, and satellites. They said his neuro chip alone is 100 years more advanced than anything currently being worked on today. So you got to give the man credit for what he's doing. You got to give him credit for when he's a you know what too, but because he you know who he is, right? He's Tony Stark. That's who he is. That's who he models himself after. He's even got a giant Iron Man statue on one of the production floors at SpaceX.
Does he really? No
yes,
way.
He does. Yeah, he does. I'm telling you, he thinks he is playing Tony Stark. Listen to him talk. Look how he acts. I mean, and is he married? No. Is he a womanizer? Yes. And Tony was until what's her name kicked him in the balls. Oh, well, he got killed anyway, so it didn't matter. But Jack, I mean, so you don't think? Let me ask you this: do you think, as humans, as Americans or as Brits, that we don't judge other countries, especially ones that we consider beneath us? That's judgment right there. What you think we're not judging Venezuela? We went over there and stole their leader and brought him to America. That's pretty judgy, if you ask me. I mean, come on. Oh, I'm not against it. I'm just saying it's pretty judgy. Well, so you have, we're being judged. We judge, they judge, and we're trying. America got this wild, goofy idea in its head a while back that we could just become this liberal nation and guide the world, and we'd all be kumbaya bullshit. There's people out there want to kill us. China and Russia would like to see nothing more than America disappear, because then they could rule the world for a while. Yes. But we don't want to go anywhere, and we're stubborn SOBs. And the difference between China and America is America is built by explorers. China's just locked in behind a wall that doesn't explore anything. They just now finally got to the moon. What? 50 years after us? 40 years after us? Somebody said, well, we're racing them to the moon. I said, no, we're not. We beat them by 40 years. What if you talking about we racing them to the moon?
They done been beat. How many goddamn years ago was that now? 69?
It's been a while. I was alive for the
62 years ago now since we got on the moon.
So, well, Jack, it's what it is. Yeah. So when you say, oh, we're going to beat them there, well, we beat them there. Or actually, I got a reporter real good the other day. Say, I said, well, we beat him there. I said, unless we didn't. Oh, shit, some conspiracy. No, we really went. We were. I started laughing. No, before anybody starts, we really went to the moon. I know y'all want to believe we didn't, but we did. The best way to prove it to yourself right now is to go hop on any satellite. So I forgot how many now, but it's like 14 countries have satellites orbiting the moon. Every one of them, or the ones that are still operational, have pictures of landing sites. Everyone. China, Xi Jinping actually came out and said, I don't know why y'all keep saying nobody went to the moon. We filmed the landing spots, which was nice to know. And pretty good color here, Christine.
And even if that, you can get a really nice, for maybe $1,000 if you have the money. It has to be an expensive one, not a little tiny like hobby telescope, but it's a good serious scientific telescope. I think they call it 1,000 power, 100 power, whatever they call them. You just get a big one. You can see the shadows of the equipment left behind on the moon from here with one of those.
Yes. Well, now you don't even have to, P. Literally, there's a bunch of countries that have filmed them up close and personal, including NASA's refilmed them. They're thinking about going to near one of the spots and bringing back a piece for prosperity. Well, they want to put a plaque up on one of them, which I'm assuming is going to be Apollo 11, but I could be wrong. Well, one of them, Johnny, they actually brought the lander up and then dropped it down. They crashed it so they could get the moon to ring. Yeah, it was an experiment. Yeah. Well, generally the lander stays on the surface and they take off with the other piece. It's gonna be we've put 2 rovers on the moon already just to see which one's going to be the one that goes with Artemis. Artemis is some big rockets. Well, they want to put refueling stations here, halfway to the moon, maybe a little closer, and then again by the moon so they can land. Yeah, they don't have to stress carrying a bunch of fuel. Just have it up there. all of this is very interesting. Now, like I said earlier, the ET is judging us. So are they watching us? So if I'm ET, I'm sitting there going, these countries can't seem to get their shit together. But who's this Elon guy? He's going to Mars and he don't even have a country helping him. Oh, he's going to Mars. Unless he dies, he's going.
He has enough money to be his own country. So does that matter?
Yes. So yeah, I think by summer they said it'd be by either 1.5 or 1.7 trillion dollars. That's bigger than a lot of countries. And then they're talking within a decade or less, he'll be probably the third richest nation on the planet, unless he gets that asteroid, and then he'll be the richest thing ever to exist anywhere. He could buy Earth like 1,000 times over. Yeah, I mean, what do you do with that? I mean, what kind of? And he's got a big family with lots of kids and plan on having lots more kids. I think he said he wants to get up to 30. He's at 14, I think, right now.
It's 14, something like that, 11 or 13, yeah.
Well, I remember when he had 12, and then I remember he had some more. No, he's got a trans kid. Yeah, it don't like its daddy. Why I call it it because I don't know if it's a boy or girl, so I'm gonna call it it. You don't really know what he calls it. That's you'd have to ask me on a Friday night show for that. He's not nice about it, not even a little bit. No, so I mean, there's lots of spots around our country where there are hot spots. I mean, there's not so Gulf Breeze, Florida is a hot spot. Actually,
it's still very hot, isn't it?
Yeah, but Navarre is actually better than Gulf Breeze, which is just right down the street from Gulf Breeze. Gulf Breeze is a little bedroom community off of Pensacola, and right before Gulf Breeze and Navarre. And Gulf Breeze and Navarre is where the majority of the activity happens. And then you got places down in Destin and further down there, like Blue Mountain Beach. You got stuff goes on there, and then there's been a lot of stuff seen by Eglin Air Force Base, which is a massive Air Force base. But you don't know how much is that is alien, how much is that is not. We do have on film 2 saucers. Well, so first you see them, they're hovering off the beach. One's about 50 yards off the beach. Other looks like about 150 yards off the beach, and they're just sitting behind each other. And we got the camera rolling, so we watch it as it goes. And I got an 80 times zoom, so I got this thing zoomed all the way in. We watch it where it goes in. We're following it. It goes in the base. I don't know, about a quarter mile, half mile. You can see it set down, but you can notice there's no roads there. So the next day I checked. I did an overhead view. There's no roads where this thing landed at. It's just a field. I mean, a runway in the middle of an empty field. It's and they got them all over Eglin, like they're right smack in the middle of the swamp. There'll be like a platform, like something gets landed there and then they take it on the ground or something. Well, it's supposed to be a big, huge underground base there, and because of Katrina, it got authenticated. They had a bunch of stuff they had to pay for at Eglin that they couldn't actually talk about because it was all part of an underground facility. Yes, a big underground facility. Well, it's an interesting place. And then there's Whiting Field out there, which is a special forces base. It's like in the middle of the Eglin base. It's crazy the way they do this. And right down the road from there, there's another big, huge Air Force base, and it's in the middle of a freaking forest. And then you see the base, and then you drive for like hours, don't see nothing. And all of a sudden, you see a little sign, like yay long, biological chemical testing.
Oh, nice.
And then there's a little half-ass road going in, like gravel road going back. Coming back on the other side, they got the same sign going the other way. So there's 2 different facilities there. Oh, it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it takes 4 hours or almost 5 hours to cross the forest. It's a big ass forest. And sometimes you'll see cops out there. Most of the time you don't see anybody out there. You're just cruising with whatever traffic has to be out there with you. It was connecting 2 towns. I can't. It's past Mexico Beach, I believe. I haven't been down to Mexico Beach since the storm. Yeah, last I seen, everything was flat. Well, no, getting back, we were talking to. I mean, so ET's judging you. They're doing this, saying you stupid humans, are you going to ever become part of the galactic community? I mean,
Not
don't get me
probably
wrong.
without their help, I don't think.
They want us to get there. It's just we just like the donkey. We're like AOC.
Well, I mean, aren't there genetic updates and technology updates? Aren't they part of that's in that part of trying to get us there?
Called O negative blood, and they've already done it. They're just waiting for us to catch up. I'm sorry, RH negative. I apologize, people. Yeah, you dumb positives, they're gonna let y'all die out. They don't care about y'all. When RH negative was introduced to society, it was less than 1%. Today, it's almost 18%.
Yeah, 17 point. What was it? 5, 6, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I always had it at 15%, but it actually grew. We would I don't know. We looked at it for a different reason, but well, no, RH negative people are different. They have different views, different ideas, different understanding. I don't know how blood makes such a fundamental shift between character, but it does. Oh, I'm not saying they don't have bad ones. Oh no, I would, when it came right down to it, I think an RH negative person could be more ruthless because they understand the humanities better. Well, so O negative, the universal donor, where all of our hematological research comes from. It helps us to understand who and what we are. So that was a big update right there. I mean, just a universal donor was a major thing because doing wars and I mean, you don't have to stock all that different blood, and it's really most of the time it's plasma anyway. But what do you think? Oh, you think the RH negative people are here to take over? You think they should be locked up like the Japanese after World War II? Shame on you. Double shame on you. One, for bringing up them poor Japanese people being locked away, and two, saying we're going to do it. I'm just saying, if I was an alien looking down at this planet, I would be scratching my head going, you're not getting in our galactic community. I don't even want to let you back at the damn council building anymore. Y'all make me nervous. All right, Raimi, how many enlightened people do you think there are out of 8 billion? I'm curious. I'm curious. How many do you think are out there? 5, 10?
There's not that many.
100 million? I mean, because most people are simply just, it's not that they're being mean or destructive. They're just caught up in their own lives. They have their daily things that go on, and they got their children and their friends and their families and their bosses, their jobs, their careers, whatever. Life, it's, their car. It's just, there's always something going on.
There are many more people who are disinterested in the UFO and paranormal stuff than there are who are interested in it. So the bulk of the planet is mostly ignorant of the subject. They don't even, you walk up to some people and ask them about it, they'd be like, what are you talking about? They have no idea what you're talking about.
Jack, it's just gotten a little bit better thanks to Congress. Well, I always hear everybody used to tell me all the time, oh, England's better about UFO disclosure. All the European countries are come to find out that's not true. Them bitches are worse than we are. It's one of the things Nick Pocket said. If y'all
there are locking people up in England for saying stuff on Twitter and X and Instagrams and all those other different things.
Robbie, nah, Nick's got terminal cancer, dude. Yeah, sorry to hear about it. He wasn't one of my enemies, if that's what you're asking me. Nah, he wasn't an enemy of mine. No, I didn't agree with him a lot. Yeah, no, you can forget that. No, I didn't. I didn't agree with him a lot. Well, because I just didn't necessarily agree with him. I can't help it, man. Sometimes I agree with stuff, sometimes I don't. Yeah. You mean Michelle DeRoche? She's on in about 40 minutes. Oh no, they're doing Chippendales tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, y'all didn't know that? Actually, it says Laren, the Laren Legacy is what it says. Yes, I can't see the whole thing. Well, I'll look for it before we go, but And she's always on 10 after us. 10 minutes after we leave, she comes on, yeah. Well, not always. Sometimes we don't leave till 10 minutes after, but regardless, she comes on 10 minutes after the hour. She'll be on 8:10. No, Amelia said she was going to dress up her chihuahuas like little strippers. Just kidding. She don't have any dogs. Michelle does, but Amelia doesn't. Actually, he doesn't work for the network no more. Jay fired his ass. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It's Denise Redding. Where I know that name from. Anyways, no, I mean, so just know they're judging you and think about that when you're always talking about aliens and if they're good or you hate them or whatever it is. I mean, they've been here a long time. They haven't wiped us out and they haven't eaten us, at least as far as we know, they haven't eaten us. And even though there are a lot of people go missing, don't get me started. You know what? If the case hasn't wrapped up by Friday, ask me my feelings about the Guthrie case on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely have opinions about it, but nothing I can talk about here now. It's not fair that the people listen to the show. Extraterrestrial got her. Maybe illegal alien got her. But,
an illegal alien got him, but he wasn't from off the planet.
Yeah, probably a local alien. Yeah. Jimmy Lou looks like glue. What the kind of dumb stuff was that, my friend? No, because ET, I've never not thought that ET didn't want us to become part of their community. I've always just thought that they're like, Jesus, these humans are so freaking dumb.
Yes.
Don't hate on me. I didn't make y'all dumb. No, indeed not. And I'm not the one calling you dumb. You
blame your senators and representatives for your public school systems. The public school systems worldwide. I mean, it was an eye opener, a shocker, really. It seems like what most people have learned through what I learned at public schools, it should be common. But there's a lot of people that didn't go and don't have access to that worldwide, and it's shocking.
Oh no, Jesse, that's not how that went down. Sorry, dude. No, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I will look and see in a few minutes, but Glory, is that your name? No, they probably shipped yesterday. Yeah, where are you again? But the Keys, it'll take a little while to get to the Keys. It'll get to Miami pretty fast, but getting it down to you in the Keys will take probably a couple of days. It actually on the thing said 3 days, so I would give it 5. Yeah, if you haven't seen it by then, come back and let me know. Michael, that's just somebody who won some books. Jay and I gave some books away. What was it, last week, huh?
Yeah.
Why would I move to Florida? Well, there's a lot of activity out there. I'm not saying there's not, but that's still not a reason to move to Florida. You still haven't given me a reason to move to Florida, my friend. No, I mean, there's a lot of activity. The Panhandle has a lot of activity. There are activity inside the Chapelai Basin, but you don't hear about it as much because it's so far out and so deep down. We do get UFO reports off the Keys. Yeah. We get weird UFO reports headed towards Cuba. But what does it mean? I mean, you just see the problem today with a UFO report. Since drones have been added to our skies, it's going to be hard. Unless you're right up on it, it's going to be hard to know it's not a drone of some sort. No, Jesse, drones can move all weird and stuff. Not like planes. They can flip over. They can spin around. They can go up and down, straight up and down. I mean, they can sit there motionless, especially if they're flying. What's going on? You see them make big dragons in the skies with the damn things. That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, they're pretty sophisticated now. Thanks to that guy I think he was out in the Midwest somewhere. Yeah, he's the one that learned how to link them together and put them together. Oh, they probably sold that information to China. Some tech they try to keep it secret as long as they can. Some stuff they just realize, look, it's software. It's gonna be hard to keep it a secret. Yeah, because you can log into it or get involved in it. Or
That's a good segue though about keeping secrets. Why don't we listen to this real quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead, pop that on. I forgot all about that.
This was on just I don't know what, a couple of days ago.
Yeah, 2 days maybe. It ain't been long.
Yeah, not long ago. So let's pop it up and
real.
Bam.
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the president of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens? Is there a person
Where are the aliens? Where
are aliens real?
So there you have it. I think he was briefed on the subject in such a way that they acknowledged to him something of I guess a conspiracy, but they didn't read him in. And his feigned ignorance of what's the place of area something or other. Come on.
No, remember this. No, remember this. They told Clinton he couldn't go. Actually, they told 4 presidents that I know of they could not go to Area 51.
But
they
Clinton
did
was
not have the clearance.
president, and so was Obama.
Yeah, but they didn't let him go. That's what I'm saying. They told him they can't go. And as far as I know, there hasn't been a Democrat briefed since like 1940. It's been all Republicans. There's only been a handful of them. It's been Ronald Reagan. Daddy Bush is the one who briefed Ronald Reagan. He's probably that briefed Baby Bush.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason them two even probably found out, because he was head of the CIA at the time. But no, they didn't tell Obama. There's no reason to. They didn't tell Biden. There's no reason to tell him that. What's he going to do? He didn't even have an interest in it. Clinton had a huge interest in it, and they told him to F off. He said he was going to do some act.
Well, I think they saw the rating on the wall. They knew that Obama, Biden, and Clinton were serious security risks had they been read in. And Reagan came up pre and post World War II as an actor who did a lot of propaganda for the U.S. military. So I guarantee you, they knew he would be able to keep his lips sealed.
Yeah, it didn't matter anyway. He got Alzheimer's.
Well, that's another thing too. That could also be a security risk. There's only so much you can blame on being. You know what Reagan said? Yeah, but he's nuts.
well, we know he knew because of a couple of reasons. One, he instituted Pine Gap, which is a joint British defense of outer space. That's pretty much
SDI.
Yeah, he instituted Star Wars, which the lasers were too big for shooting down missiles. They were designed more for like attacking ships, big ones at that. And then he designed the HARP. They brought in the HARP facility, which punches holes through the ionosphere.
He also had delivered 7 speeches where he mentioned what would happen in this world if an alien threat.
How fast the world would unite under an alien threat. He knew it. I mean, he knew, but he's still bound by the presidency. He can only go so far. And they probably would have killed him over if he tried to come out.
Yeah.
But then it might not even be that. It might be simpler than that. They might just not know much. I mean, we're not making crazy leaps and bounds in technology over the last 100 years. They just seem to be paced.
No, I mean, you go back exactly 100 years. We go back to 1925. What did we have? Model T cars, no alcohol. World War I was raging, and we have vellum covered light wooden airplanes that are people. They dropped bombs by hand.
I know, that was cool.
They would open up, they would turn on a hand grenade and drop it on you. It's basically
that's the best part. Somebody could kill you with a rifle from the ground in your plane. That was just too funny.
Yeah.
No, it's true, John. So yeah, they could shoot especially the German biplanes.
The airplane skin was like equivalent of like today's modern Mylar, only it was a natural fiber made out of leathers and skins and other things of that nature, and fabrics, and you could shoot right through it.
Well, we couldn't build fast planes until we started coming out with composites, like when we built the Corsairs. They were made out of
some of those planes, those rotary engines, they're 12 and 24 cylinders. That's a lot of power.
Yeah, it's getting up there. The Corsair was probably the second best built plane during the World War II. The Zero beat us out. The Zero beat us out, and they beat the Germans out. It was just a better plane. It was a faster plane.
Well, the ASM-2 had a couple of advantages. It was faster, it was bigger, and it was armor plated.
Yeah, so it was designed to do what it did. It was a damn good airplane.
Yeah.
Oh, the Corsairs, we took a beating with the Corsairs, but eventually it wore them down, simply because we just had more of them.
They were slower, but they had a lot of. They took a lot to take them down, so they could take a lot of hits.
And
but
don't forget,
the engines were the most vulnerable part. So you hit the engine or the prop, it's done.
But don't forget, Navy pilots are crazy.
Black sheep.
Actually, on the Corsairs, there was a point. It was AB something. They changed the prop rotation. They added another blade, just for that fact that if it got hit, it would still. They show pictures of these things, chunks missing off the side of the plane.
Yeah,
props broke off, landed on the ground, brought the pilot home. And what's crazy is its predecessor, the Corsair 2, same way. It's a big, bulky ass plane that it was a bomber though. It wasn't a fighter. You could have probably used it as a fighter, but it was slow. It was only 600 miles an hour, which was still probably faster than the original Corsair, but because it was jet propelled and not prop propelled. They had huge intakes on them. I could fit down the whole intake. It's called diving a duck. All jets, you have to get into ducts to make sure there's not, pebbles. A little pebble this big can tear up your impeller blades. And guess what happens then? Oh, you're not going nowhere. And that's if it don't shoot chunks out the side of the jet engine and tear up all kind of other stuff. Yeah, I know. What story? Oh, you mean I can't tell it anymore. I was told not to. So I got in trouble for two things recently. One, talking about the top speed of the USS Nimitz because it was supposed to retire, so it shouldn't have been a big deal. But then they assholes decided not to retire it.
And anything that was going to be not top secret still was.
Yeah. So anyway, I got a hit for that. Yeah, I was like, oh man. And well, you sometimes just gotta watch what you say.
Not something that the Russians didn't already know, I wouldn't think.
I don't think any of that stuff is anymore. But you should have heard Trump picking on Xi Jinping today. How come all your planes look like ours?
Yeah.
They just came out with their new stealth bomber. It's the B-1. It looks just like the B-1, cut wings and everything. But their general got in trouble because he said, well, it's not near as capable as the B-1 Raider. It's just not in the same category. It'll be a while before that happens.
Yeah.
It's almost like somebody sold them one of the old ones. Because there was one some guy found in a hangar somewhere. Well, there was one that was abandoned in a hangar somewhere. Some guy found it and restored it to its full restoration. The only thing it couldn't do is there's a certain thing you got to put on the wings to help make it stealth. Of course, the Air Force wouldn't let him use it. So they're like, no, you're not getting any of this top secret stealth juice, man. What the hell's wrong with you? He restored it fully, Chris. He had looked brand spanking. They did a great job. They still have it. I think they sold it back to the Air Force, unless they sold it to China. You'll see that China's new. Just type in China's new nuclear bomber. It should come up.
Weird. Looks almost identical to
early
versions.
Yeah. So, well, if you look at their J-20, their new their J-20 or J-35, it's got the fins in the front like our new 48 does. They get pieces of our technology. The problem for them is I don't think they get all of it, and then they have to go from a certain point and try to backwards engineer stuff.
Yeah.
But Trump said today or yesterday, whenever it was, he said, I'm curious to why all of your stuff planes and other things look just like ours. He said, if we find out you're stealing technology, that's an act of war, She. He says, not something we'd have to retaliate.
I mean, the same thing could be said of Russia. I mean, some of their new fighter planes look like a lot of our type of fighter planes. They also have their space shuttle is almost
the space shuttle is
a little bit more angular. It's almost virtually identical to our space shuttle.
But that hunk of shit never flew. It
But still, I mean.
Oh, now Russian jets. I'll give Russians prop on their jets. Russians built some badass jets over the years, and so even what they're running now, they're pretty badass jets. They just can't produce a lot of them, and their pilots aren't all that great because. When's the last time their pilots have come up with real conflict? Ukraine, get the fuck out of here. Well, beep. Sorry, that's not a real war. They're not flying jets all over. Well, according to the thing, they have like 4,000 jets. I haven't seen 4,000. They have, according to their holdings of what's reported to the UN, they have enough jets to fly wingtip to wingtip in 4 rows and just carpet bomb the entire UK. I mean, not the UK, the Ukraine. Sorry,
Ukraine. Yeah, well, that's still UK.
Yeah, so I mean, that's ridiculous. And they're not doing that. It's just they need to end this. No, we'll talk more about it on Friday. Well, maybe if a UFO showed up over Kiev or Moscow. I hate calling.
Have there been any?
Not recently. And if they're getting them, they're not being reported. Well, I did hear that one guy got his foot blown off, and the Russians put him back into the field. And, well, Russians are having a real big problem with conscription. People are just running away. Now the Ukraine's starting to too. Nobody wants to fight the war. Even the North Korean soldiers don't want to fight the war. They think it's a stupid war. Nobody wants to fight this.
Where are we now? 3.5 years now in?
According to whatchamacallit, it's 4 years, but I think you're right with 3.5. It's I was listening to that speech that Rubio gave the other day, and I kept saying it was 4 years. I think they were just kind of pushing it forward a little bit, but that was a great speech Rubio gave. I brought it to you tomorrow. Yes, indeed, man. You know what? It's funny because I was talking to a friend of mine. I said, now this is going to be the next president of the United States of America, Marco Rubio. Well, he's got everything that Trump and Vance don't have. One, he's got couth in a little glass. Asked me about that on Friday. Yeah, I got a big argument with them over Melania. That shit pissed me right off. They wrote today. I tore them up one side, down the other side, and then I went and got real stats and said, "This is what's what here." Because it was somebody went out of their way just to be mean. It wasn't nothing else, just but to be mean. Because they didn't want her, whatever it is, a little documentary to be successful. The liberals are just angry. Ask me about it on Friday, but they're just angry right now. They have issues. Mm-hmm. So even if you can go in right now and talk to liberals about UFOs. They ain't gonna want to talk to you about it. Most of them are not even a little bit informed on it. And what's scary is in the old days, that's pretty much all the field was liberals. I don't know what it is today. It's just a mess. I don't even want to get back in the field. I still do lectures and stuff. Oh, you mean because I don't do UFO? No, that's not true. I do UFO lectures. I'm just not. I did enough conferences with like the Dolans and Greer and Peter Robbins and Stephen Bissett and anybody who was anybody at the time. My favorite all time was Stanton Friedman. Even though him and I didn't agree all the time, we had a couple of good arguments, but I like Stan. Stan was plain up front. And if he didn't like something, he'd tell you. We just got along. I interviewed him over 40 times, yeah. He was a great interview. I miss the old man. Matter of fact, I was in Roswell for the 60th anniversary. He came walking into town because he flipped his car and took way to Roswell.
Oh, God.
He flipped it out in the desert. He's a tough old bastard, yeah. He was a nuclear physicist. He wasn't a PhD, though. Because he used to get mad at me when I call him Dr. Stevens. I'm not a doctor. Well, okay, no problem. Ask. Read whatever you want. Not missing. Oh, you're talking about Betty's niece, Kathleen Waldron. I don't have any problem against Kathleen. I don't agree with what she wrote. I think she took liberties with the book from the case that she shouldn't have, and it took away from it. And the fact that I proved that that's not how the case went down, and that what happened to him, what Betty and Barney called an abduction in wherever it was, Connecticut, was a military abduction. And the real abduction happened in Canada. They didn't like that. She wrote a book, Jack. I did damage to her, but I wasn't trying to, but I mean, come on. The problem with ufology is, when I got into ufology, the problem with it was is no one held anybody accountable. And then I met this guy called the Bad Astronomer. He was a, he was a DIC, and him and I got along good. We had many arguments, or debates, but still, he was willing to listen if it was something that was provable, or there was something leading up to it, and he wasn't anti-UFO. He was just anti-UFO community. Yeah, because too many people lying. It's just like the paranormal world. There's just too many liars. Who was it? Let me think. What was the toilet guys that used to be UFO hunters?
I just got a thing. Your Rumble API key is no longer valid. Jojo Mon 1.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Please delete this destination and create a new one. Wow.
We only got 13 minutes left, so don't worry about it. But remind me when we see each other on Friday, we need to check into that and make sure it's not something. I don't know why that would. I don't know what that was about. Well, we've been using that key a long time. They may have just decided to change it for security reasons.
Yeah. Who knows?
And the other one's set up differently, so yeah. And we'll check it. I might check into tomorrow. I got to put archives up tomorrow. I'm not going to do it tonight, but Tuesdays and today's archives will be up tomorrow, sometime during the day. I might get unlazy and get motivated, but I'm tired. I had slept in like 48 hours, guys. Like, I came home today and just passed out for a little while, and had to set the alarm, so I remember to get up with Jay, and still slept through a damn alarm. Well, because I knew I was sitting on the couch. About half hour early, I think I texted Jay, and I just walked in, and I was like, man, I know it's like almost time. You got to go. And I leaned my head back and I said, Alexa, blah, blah, blah. And then I was out. Just I heard like beep, 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 Alexa, and I started using language I can't use here. And I said, get up, get your butt in there. You can't leave the man by himself. And so I got up, came back here, and I got dressed like a half-looking human. I'm going to tell you something. This is going to sound egotistical, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't think in general that Uncle Sam knows as much as my organization does, or myself, to be honest with you.
I would agree.
Well, put it this way. You didn't drag me down there on 2 different occasions for 3 days each time for no reason. I was told, and I couldn't tell you if it's true or not, but I was told by the lady running the thing that I was the only witness that agreed to be polygraphed. It has to be polygraphed, and that had spent 6 different days with more than 40, I think it was 47 hours worth of testimony.
Wow.
And then they asked me if I'd come back for a third time, and I said no. I said anything else than this is going to get into areas that you're just going to have a hard time with. And she looks down at me. She goes, like I'm not already having a hard time with this. I mean, I was up front with some of the stuff, and then it was funny though, because like in the first time around, I had talked about, we just talked about how maybe starts a man got here and the reptilian thing and this, that, and the other thing. And that's another thing. I shouldn't probably even say this on air. No, I'm going to tell you. I'll probably get in trouble for it. But anyway, that particular piece of conversation came up about the reptilians and human thing and all of that. And one of the people there are like, well, we don't look like reptilians. We don't have any reptilians. I said, I'm not going to say who it was because let's just say they were pretty well up in the world in the military. And I said, oh, yes, we most certainly do. We all have a reptilian section in our brain. It's what makes us, you and I, what we are. I said, it's what makes you the soldier that you are. I said, without it, you would probably be carrying a pink tutu around. So, I think her name is Nancy. She looks down, dark head. She looks down. She goes, "Now you're just screwing." I said, "No." I said, "Technically, we have an insect brain too." I said, "But the reptilian is more important for us." I said, "It's this is what it is." And then she said, "Well, how did we get it?" I said, "Well, science said we evolved that way." And he said, "Oh, but you don't believe that." I said, "No, that's not what I'm saying." I said, "I was told that the original creation before us was like us, but not near as smart, not near as bright. They could procreate and make beer and do all the fun things, but they never asked, they never fussed at their creators. They never said, you bad, and we don't want to do this." I said, "You know how our people act today?" And they started laughing. And I was like, it was like that. And I said, and then, because I guess the reptilians get tired of seeing us being pushed around, they stole the women, raped the women, brought them back pregnant.
Yeah.
And thank you. Here we are. Here is the species from that today. I said, and even that species has been modified a little bit because somewhere along the line we got gray DNA. I said, so when people talk about our DNA, we don't even know what is our original DNA. We don't know what the human aliens created us from, or what, because some people say, "Oh, well, we're monkeys." Well, maybe the human aliens use some type of monkey and to create the first group with, but the second group doesn't have it. RH negative people don't have any Reese's monkey in their genes. They don't go around going, "Well, that's okay." It's an upgraded species. And wait, I don't even think that's going to be the last one. I just think that's just whatever phase we're in right now, that's where we are. And then RH negative will bring us up to a new enlightenment eventually, and then something else will come along to help us continue if we don't nuke ourselves. I don't know what blood type Putin is. I'd have to ask. I don't know if it's public information. We could ask.
It might be. Hey, Google, what blood type is President Putin of Russia?
I wonder if it's.
That's a very specific question, but President Putin's blood type is not public knowledge.
I like how she said that. Like, you
said F you without saying F you.
ask her what Xi Jinping's blood is.
Hey, Google, do you know what President Xi Jinping of China blood type?
Is she gonna fuss at me again?
Xi Jinping's blood type is also not public information. I can tell you that in China, the very rare Rh negative blood type is sometimes nicknamed panda blood because so few people have it.
Yeah. So Rh negative in China is called panda blood.
Because nobody hardly has it, huh? Panda blood.
According to Google.
I'm gonna write this up here. That'll be useful somewhere down the line. But no, that's what we were just talking about. So she said that it's a very rare. It's so rare they call it panda blood. It's pretty rare in the United States. It's give me a second. I'll give you what approximately.
Last time we looked at it was something on the order of like 4%. I want to say.
But RH negative is in this country. Was 15, but it's about 17.5 now, but maybe up or down a little bit. But it's an easier way to do it. So RH negative, O negative people are 7% of the population. AB negative and AB negative is 1.5%. So that's what 8.5%. There's another one. B, I think, is like 8%. And I forgot what A is, but regardless, it's somewhere between 15% and 19% of the world's population has Rh negative, or not the world's population of the United States. When you ask the computer, usually what's the world population of Rh negative, it usually tells you 15%. But it's been doing that for a decade, and you know that's not right. So you have to use.
It doesn't have updated numbers, so yeah.
A positives are Satan children. Did you know that? Children of Satan. A positive. The original archangel. That's what A positive means. Huh. Jesse, I will send you a book if you can tell me what BAR means, what bar means. Yeah. What do you mean? It spells bar, but it means something.
I have an idea if we're talking about a certain gun.
No, we're talking about bar. BAR, like is in bar, like you go to drink at the bar. It means beer alcohol lounge. That's what bar stands for. That's where it came from. Beer alcohol lounge. BAR bar. That's what.
Well, it would be ball.
You know. Or room. I'm sorry, I said lounge at night. Room. Yeah. No, when I heard it, I was like, what? Bar alcohol room, but that makes sense. It's what it was. A bar is a bar alcohol room.
It stands for Browning Automatic Rifle.
That's a good one too. Yes, all you A positive people are Satan children because you come from the original archangel, which of course is Lucifer. Yes, I don't make the rules. What do you mean? Be positive.
Yeah.
People. Be positive stands for
All
bastard
you
people.
demon children of the A bloods.
I'm sorry, I'll behave.
Keep ye back.
Mm-hmm. You mean ABO? What about it? Well, technically, there's those blood types, which is primary, but there's like another 30 that are they're dying out. So they come in and they go away. So there was one they could only find one person that had it. She's died, so it's actually gone. They found another one where 14 people had it, but that none of them had children, so it's actually dying out too. So I think there was by the time they got through, only like 2 or 3 of these were going to hang around, and or 5 or 6 of them, and I think half of them can take the universal donor, which is just saying that we're changing as a species, is what it's telling you. We have to grow, expand. If we're going to get into space, we become a different species.
We're going to have to eventually, if we mean to survive. And what's the guy's name? Travis something or other. There was part of this roundtable discussion I saw this afternoon. And I agree with him, even though he does it in a redneck kind of way. Is that eventually there's going to be some extinction level event that's going to force us to leave the planet, if not permanently, temporarily at least. We need to have, we need a summer home. And so in case something, we're in a shooting gallery every 9 months, I think, when we go through the different, or is it every 6 months we go through the different meteor showers. One day something is going to hit the planet. It's not a question of when, it's a question of how big is the rock going to be.
I know, huh?
So we need another place.
So that's true and not true, Giselle. Yeah, I was just noticing your name is close to someone else's. No, it's not. Well, because what Jay's saying can absolutely happen at any given time, but within 50 or 100 years, we'll probably have the technology that we don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or if Elon is what everybody thinks Elon's doing is true, we probably already have the technology.
I was just about to say while I was swallowing my water that if we don't already have it, I don't know that Musk has that technology, but I'll bet the space fleet does.
He is the space fleet, 46,000 satellites in space. He is the space fleet.
If you listen to some of the old whistleblowers like Roger Dean and them.
Yeah, I bet you they want to believe that shit. First off, you want me to tell you how you know there's not a space fleet?
How?
There's no budget for it. So back in the day when we were getting in all that trouble,
projects.
Yeah, but no, black projects today cost hundreds of billions, even trillions of dollars. You can't hide that anymore. That's how they knew the 6th generation plane was being built, because of the money being doled out to it. See, in the old days, you could hide that money with $35,000 toilets and $80 handles and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
$500 toilet seats for specialty airplanes.
You just had Doge go through every part of the government.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, so that tells you it's probably not what we think it is. Well, gee, we've been working on building stuff. That's what Space Command's for. And DARPA's got some mean stuff coming up, but I don't think we're quite in space with it yet. I mean, some of the smaller stuff we are, but
okay. So what if let's just say, for example, they had the fleet built in the 60s, the budget's already done, and they're not building anything new for it, but what we have is what we got. Doge may not necessarily have found anything about that. Something that was budgeted, 40, 50, 60 years ago.
You still have to pay the people, get the fuel, fix the repairs. It's always going to be a paper trail or something like that. And frankly, we didn't have that kind of technology back then. We don't really have that kind of technology today.
No.
We're close, but we're not. We still don't have those kind of composite materials yet. There's nobody anywhere bragging about having any new breakthrough composites. Even Elon said that he could probably build an engine that can go much faster than anybody thinks, but we don't have anything to encase it in. His words.
Yeah.
Plus, you got to be able to see that far ahead going that fast. And as far as I know, we don't have that kind of satellite technology yet. So what they're really thinking about, and this is one of the reasons we've been putting satellites in space. So right now, from Mercury all the way to the Oort cloud, we have satellites. So we can go through space now. We know where shit's at. But once we leave our own solar system, we don't know where anything is.
We have no guidance, yeah.
So trying to haul ass at ungodly speeds is cool because there's not a lot to hitch in space, but every now and then there will be. And it will come out of the blue because you didn't know it was there.
Yeah, we've essentially got the equivalent of like our brights on, so we can see what's coming ahead if we're going down the road. But you leave the comfort zone of our satellite road, if you will. Anybody's game. What's ahead?
Jimmy's just part of it, my friend. Because I want to believe we got a big space satellite. But if we did, big space, but if we did, Russia and China would never talk to us the way they do. Because they would fear we'd wipe them out of the face of existence. And I'm not sure if we had it, we wouldn't have already done something with it. What do you mean? Yeah, because so put it this way. Let's say we've got like one of those ships like Stargate had, SG-1 had. And we just flew that some bitch over Moscow and then over Siberia and just wasted all their oil refineries, just burned them to the ground. And they seen it. And then they tried to launch even a nuke and it just shot it down like it was nothing. They would have already bowed and given in. They would have said, okay, well, we're gonna die. Either we're gonna surrender or we're gonna die. Mm-hmm. There's a race for who that's going to be, Christopher. And Elon right now is playing a big part in it. Well, China offered Elon $1 trillion to come work for him. And they only got like an $11 trillion budget. So that's a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
Europe's got a huge economy. Europe is actually bigger than the United States population-wise, not land-wise, but population-wise. I think we're at 350 billion. I want to say they're at 420 billion, something like that. We'd have to double check to be sure, but I worship her. Elgar, whatever her name is, the head of the EU. Oh, yes. She's my new crush. When you ask those kind of questions, who really knows about ET? Who really knows about ET is the people running the Men in Black, the people who are running the military abductions. They're the ones who probably know the most. Our government don't know jack squat about jack squat. And mainly because if we did, we'd probably be giving it to the Chinese.
Yeah, if they don't already have a piece of it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Technology they've grabbed from the guys too.
So, you mean in modern era? So I'll tell you what I think happened in modern era. I think that originally the ETs hooked up with the Germans and helped them to become. They were already the most advanced country on the planet at the time. They were pretty advanced going into World War II, and as they were heading into pretty advanced going into World War I, and really advanced going into World War II. And somewhere around there, they were giving us a saucer. And it's the only way you can say it. It didn't crash. It wasn't a recovery. All the records state that this thing was a gift. And it was a gift by the fair-haired, angelic-looking angels, the human-type aliens. And then Hitler said they helped him to come up with experiments, to work on the things. So these aliens, these human aliens, were actually guiding Hitler. At least it seems that way. At least in some things. And they definitely gave him the technology. They didn't actually give it to Hitler. They gave it to the guy before Hitler, but still, he got it. I mean, come on, guys. They had nuclear weapons. They had jets. If we wouldn't intervene and stole all their scientists, we'd have lost the war. They'd have been using fighter jets to drop nukes on our heads.
Yep. They were months away from launching a full jet air force.
If we didn't have anything to take on them jets, the few times that you heard about one flying, it was catastrophic for anybody that ran up against them. But then it was also catastrophic sometimes for them. I mean, flying a jet's not like flying a biplane or a prop plane.
They didn't have any training time.
You know, getting in a jet first off has thrust in it. It's going to knock you back into the chair or something serious, and you're going to do maneuvers in it that you've never done before. So you got to know how to pull out if you go into a flat spin or something. I mean, they're just much different than flying one. Whereas those planes, I think a Corsair flew at around 300, 400 miles an hour. These things were probably doing closer to 650, and they were doing it from like 0 to 650 in like a blink of an eye.
And trying to fight planes that are going 300-400 miles an hour tops.
Yeah, they would just blow by full guns blazing and just dust them.
Yeah.
But by the time the Corsair knew what was going on, they hadn't been shot to pieces.
Well, if they were that good, again, like I said, the few examples, there weren't many jets that made it into World War II. The Messerschmitt 262 wasn't very successful because the pilots didn't have experience in any dogfights. They didn't have enough training, for one. A lot of times they overshot the targets and then wound up crashing into something behind it or crashing into the ground.
Jesse said it was the F-22 of the time, huh?
Yeah.
F-22 was a Widowmaker.
They just spent a little bit more time on training with it. You know, like I said, they were if it had gone another couple of months and they'd gotten the whole Messerschmitt fleet out, we'd all be speaking German.
Well, at least the Europeans would, because between the jets and the V2 bombs, they could have really wreaked havoc on England. They would have had to surrender.
Oh yeah, they would have crushed it.
Yeah, well, they weren't that far out to start off with, Christopher. Yeah, they weren't. No, but we got to go because it's past our time to get out of here. Michelle is coming on in just a few minutes. You can always make a donation to the station at uprntalkradio.com. Sorry. Yeah, you can always go over there and make it. But, you know, you can do things like we have memberships and stuff like that on YouTube and things. We are joining the lawsuit against them. Yes, we are. I don't want to talk about it here, though, because somebody in the red might get upset and throw us off again. But anyway, on that note, we got to get out. Yeah, we should have come check. Are you on this Friday with Crazy Man?
Yeah, I think I'm starting my next 3 with Jeff this Friday. We got Mark Eddy on this week.
Cool. Mark's always fun. Jeffrey Pritchett. Yeah. If y'all been around, y'all probably know his. He was ranting about something today. That's what made me think about it.
Oh yeah.
No.
The court thingy.
He's lefty. He's almost crazy liberal lefty. Yeah, almost, not quite. Real close though. He hadn't dyed his hair blue yet, so that's a good sign. You don't have no hair, dumbass. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Plug Radio and UFO Undercover. I hope you enjoyed the show. Any moans, groans, bitches, or complaints, please write to Michelle DeRoche. She likes hearing from y'all. She said she feels very lonely lately because we've been being behaved for some reason or another.
Yeah, we haven't had any hits against us in a while.
Denise, as soon as I get on lazy, that's like 8 of them. I'm just too lazy to book them. I've just been being lazy. Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll bring on an intern to do that kind of stuff. We'll see. Right now, I got other things on my mind about other things I'm working on, but I'm getting ready to wrap up some of that. Get out there and tell people where. Come get over here and get on this YouTube page, man. What the hell? There are like 6 people on here. Well, a little more than that, but still. Yeah, get out there, people. And if you're watching this via video somewhere or YouTube or anything like, or anything like that, Facebook, come get over here. Yeah. I don't know. We're going to have all kind of new rules with Facebook soon, so we'll see how that works out. On that note, again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and UFO Undercover. I hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check in with Michelle in the Outer Realm. She'll be going live in about 30 seconds.
Or right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Good night, everybody. Do, 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 do.